All right, guys, episode 51 of the podcast with Connor, an awesome 805 producer from Oxnard. And yeah, we talked about his journey from going to school, studying kinesiology, and how we got into producing and making music. And then even prior to that, starting with playing piano in the 3rd grade. So hopefully you guys enjoy this podcast, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.
Twisted Tea coming in 2023.
Yeah, Tweez.
Oh yeah.
We actually got the Screwball. That's like the staple of the Stew Crew.
Screwball?
Yeah.
I don't think I've tried that.
You haven't tried that? It's peanut butter whiskey.
Peanut butter whiskey?
Yeah.
Is it good?
It's amazing, bro.
Shit, okay.
And
I'm gonna have to try it April 1st.
Hey, that's the day?
Yeah. I'm trying to... No, I don't want to get blacked out, but definitely want to drink something.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll come kick it.
That was the drink that we were drinking all throughout Stew Crew Tapes Volume 1, pretty much. Like,
okay.
Overnights, just drinking that, and then Twisted Teas and freaking...
Okay. You think that influenced the sound?
I definitely think so.
Some whiskey?
Yeah.
You guys are pulling all-nighters, just drinking and writing music?
Yeah, all-nighters, drinking and then making music. And then also, that was within a span of 3 weeks, bro, which was crazy. We were just going so hard.
The whole tape?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. How many of you guys were working on it?
So it was me, Blue, Drix, Ty, Red, and Heck.
Okay.
So like 5 or 6, and then T-Funk, and then my homie Eddie EAG.
Okay.
So it was like around 7 people,
Dang.
which was pretty dope.
So that's like 2-3 producers, and then everyone else is like rapping on it?
Yeah, so mainly it was just me and Blue producing.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then
Is that like your first project that you did like the whole thing?
Yeah, actually first project, engineering and then mixing, mastering.
Tight.
By myself. So I learned so much from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. But
Dude,
it's fun,
is.
you know? You just keep doing it and repeat that process, and it gets easier over time.
Yeah. And then prior to that, I dropped a project which Blue produced it, and that was actually my first project. And I don't know, it's just crazy it's awesome to see the progression from then to now, which is insane. Like,
is that the one you performed at Fresh Mex?
which one was that?
Was it Flight Fest, I think that's where I met all you guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I didn't meet you, but like I
You
saw
saw
you
everyone?
guys perform.
Yeah. I didn't perform any songs from that, but it was a few songs. I think Red performed one of the songs on my project, and then Eddie performed what song was it? Oh, it was P off of Stew Crew Tapes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it was a cool show. That was fun.
Dude, it was, man. Shout out to Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Is he planning another one?
I'm not sure, but I mean, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
That'd be super dope.
I'll definitely roll up.
Yeah. But what about you though? I'm just curious, what made you want to take this hiatus from drinking? Was it just too much?
No, actually, it's a hiatus from everything, like full sobriety.
Oh, nice.
Like tobacco, weed, alcohol. I did it last year too. I was just going through a time where I just felt like I needed a break and just like a change of pace. And
I feel that.
Not that I was like heavy into it or anything, but it was just, you get that internal feeling where you're like, I need to mix it up and then realign my compass and just get back on the road and get back to business.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I don't think I had a problem with it or anything. It was more just, okay, let me regroup for a second.
Mm.
And then I did it last year. So I wanted to do it again this year. I was going to do the Sober October thing with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
He's been an influence, but I never did it in October because I would always end up at a Halloween party. But I was like, I can always do a New Year's thing. And I felt like a month was not enough for me to like really like dial in and focus.
Yeah.
So the last year was the first time. So I just figured 3 months, and then I'm doing it again this year too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with nicotine, I actually did that. I started August, and then recently, this past weekend with the No Cover magazine show, I was like, dude, you know what? I'm just gonna have a little bit of nicotine.
Yeah.
And it felt good, like right before the show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
they feel good for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
there's powers in using substances, and there's powers in refraining from them too.
Definitely.
So you can learn a lot from being under the influence and not being under the influence at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just gotta find that balance, like, for yourself.
For sure.
Everyone has a different gauge on what they can handle or what they're comfortable with.
For sure. And I don't know, you seem to be, I was like kind of looking through your Instagram, and the earlier stuff was you traveling and stuff. Did you have a sort of moment where you wanted to just travel and just kind of like it's like the cliche, like finding yourself or
Yeah.
like whatever you think, but
I wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, like, I grew up in Oxnard, so I mean, I've been around here like my whole childhood pretty much. Been in the same house. Had not a lot of the same friends, but a same like core group of friends. And I'd go to Utah every year. Had family out there, so I'd go
Nice.
for every Christmas and every summer, and that was kind of like the extent of travel. Maybe like Vegas every once in a while. And my senior year, I had an opportunity to go to Hawaii for school.
Dope.
So I went to college out there, and that's kind of where I did not like travel, but like I got to go away and see like another way of living. How, you just see how other people live. You learn new ideas, live new experiences. And it wasn't really travel, but I just got to see a lot out there.
Yeah, I noticed just being in different areas, you see how stuck you are in a place where if all you know is Oxnard, then you don't get to see the different cultures, how other people live, how just how different it is from where you live. And I think that's a huge benefit to people, is to get outside of your comfort zone pretty much.
Yeah. And like, we're blessed to like be in the internet age, so like I got to see all those YouTubers that are traveling and going out and doing things. And I was involved in like backpacking, so we do a lot of trips like that. So I always wanted to do like those like multi-country, like staying in a hostel, like maybe sleep in a park kind of trip. And I didn't get to do like the full thing, but I got to experience like little pieces of it.
That's awesome.
And just watching people like on the internet kind of inspired me to do that, or at least like dip my toes into it.
Yeah, I remember at a certain point too, I wanted to backpack. I wanted to go to Thailand and to the Philippines and
Yeah.
just backpack around the world. But soon, that is still on my list to do.
Yeah. Well, let
Yeah.
me know, man. Like, I haven't been in a while. It's been like 5 years since the last trip I did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we were in Costa Rica. I went with my roommate my senior year. Him and his friend, they were getting a spot out there, and their whole family was going just for a vacation. So we found these really cheap tickets, and we're out there for like a month.
That's tight.
Yeah, just cruising around over there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
For school, what did you do?
I went to school for kinesiology.
Okay.
So it's like, it's officially called kinesiology and rehab science. So it's a lot of like, how do I explain it? It's like a generic major. So we had people that were getting into nursing, physical therapists. We had people that were like pre-med, people that want to be PE teachers. So it's kind of like a prereq major to like branch out and continue like your health field journey.
And when you sign up for that, is it a major? It's a major, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you signed up for that, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do, or was it just, from the Asian culture, you're Filipino, right?
Yeah.
Is it full or?
Half Filipino, half Spanish.
Okay. So I guess with both cultures, it's like going to school is, I guess, required, unless like, the Mexican side, it's like you either go to school or work.
Yeah.
Filipino side, it's a lot of nurses and a lot of people in the medical field. So
Yeah.
what was there pressure on you to go to school, or did you want to do it? What was the?
Never like a pressure. Like, I have a pretty chill family, and they emphasize happiness over everything.
Yeah.
As long as you got your shit together, they're like, as long as you're happy, it doesn't really matter.
I feel that.
So it was more like an internal goal. And the school, I went to Santa Clara High School. Shout out the Saints.
Hey.
And my English teacher really inspired like my whole class. Like she was with us from freshman year up until senior year. So she saw our progression like throughout high school. And she really helped with our application process and just inspired us to continue our education. And, you know, I was fortunate to have the opportunity to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
For school.
Can you move this a little bit closer?
A little bit closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry, it's my first podcast.
Yeah, no worries. You're good.
So, you know, I wanted to capitalize on that opportunity and not let it go to waste at the same time. But yeah, there's no pressure. It was more of an internal goal.
Yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. My parents were, I feel like they were kind of busy doing their own thing, so I had a lot of freedom to just explore, and I really didn't have parental figures to like say, hey, do this or do that. I was kind of free to just do whatever I wanted to try. Nice. Which again, I think it goes down to the person. Because on that path, you can get onto a bad path without a purpose, and you can hang around with the wrong people. So I guess it's just being mindful of who you're hang around with too. But yeah, for me, I was I don't know. I feel like one thing that really helped me out was having a job that I hated.
Okay. What were you doing for work?
My first ever job was Little Caesars.
Oh, shit.
That was the hardest shit I've ever done, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
Like at 15 or 16, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So almost like, 9 years ago? I'm 25.
Okay. And then that inspired you to do other things, or?
Yeah, other things. Like, it inspired me to ask myself, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? Because I would see people there that are kind of old, like in their mid-40s, 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if I saw myself going down that path, that's what I would be. So it really made me question what I was doing with my life.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, though. Sometimes you need that check to, you know, to realign your compass, to be like, okay, what direction am I going right now? Is this the path that I want to go down, or am I kind of just mindlessly walking down this road with my eyes closed?
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard process of opening your eyes, but it's necessary to like get to that next point. So I mean, that's cool that you realize that, because there's a lot of people that don't ever have that realization.
Yeah, for sure.
And you can always repeat that process and level up all the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And for you, going to school, I don't think did you know what you wanted to do, or was it kind of?
I knew I had like a couple ideas. Like I wanted to be like a military medic.
Okay.
Maybe like a PE teacher. My dad was involved in the school system, so he's always telling me to work at a school.
Okay.
I thought working for like a sports team as like an athletic trainer would be cool. I didn't know like specifically, but I knew I was interested in learning about the body and how it works, and seeing like where I could apply that. So it was good that it was kind of a generic major, because I didn't have to go too deep into like anything, but we got to learn like really about everything about the body, somewhat at a surface level, and then, you know, as you get into like the higher level classes, like you get to go more specific. But yeah, I didn't really know specifically what I wanted. So I just tried a little bit of everything.
And did you graduate? You graduated?
Yeah, I graduated in December 2015.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then prior to that, with music, how does that fit into what, like, when did you start making music, or when was the moment you were like, I don't know, when was the first time you experimented with making music?
Well, I was like in 3rd grade, and okay, so I switched schools in 2nd grade. I went from Marina West to Santa Clara Elementary.
Shit. I went to Marina West too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Hey, my dad used to work there.
Oh, lit.
Yeah. Shout out to the Seagulls.
Yay, the Seagulls.
But we had a music class that we went to, and that was like the first time I went to a music class, and I saw the piano teacher, and I was like, damn, like that looks really cool. I don't know what she's doing, but that looks cool, and I want to do that. So I went home one day and I asked my mom if she could sign me up for piano lessons. and I think they said no at first, and they got me a keyboard. And I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, so I'd bring the keyboard over there and I just, learn songs, just messing around, did not know what I was doing. And then they eventually signed me up for piano lessons, me and my brother, and it was like classical lessons, so I wasn't really learning theory or anything. It was more, hey, this is a complicated piece, you're going to learn how to play it, and you're going to go perform it in front of judges. And that was kind of like the cycle of how we were learning pieces.
Interesting.
So I did that until 8th grade, and then I was switching the music that I was listening to. So I wanted to learn more like pop stuff or like Beatles music and jazz. I was just like exploring my palette.
Yeah.
So my teacher referred me to another guy. I forget his name, but I was with him for 2 years, and that's where I learned like theory, how chords work and everything. Like actually like learning how to play and apply it. And then I stopped my junior year, or like the end of my sophomore year, because I was getting into cross country and everything, and I was like, yeah, piano's cool, but like I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do after high school, and probably not going to do music. Like it's cool, but I don't really want to do this. So I kind of stopped and didn't really do music from that point on. I listened to a lot of music though, but never like playing. But my junior year of college, I was watching YouTube, and there was this dude Felly who would play beats, or he'd like make beats. This is a dude from Connecticut, and I saw the beat pad and I was like, damn, like that's cool, like I think I could do that. Or I don't even know what I was thinking, because I didn't do any music like that. I was like new to hip-hop at the time.
Was it MPC? You had like one of those?
He had one of those, and then he had a machine, but like the big ones though.
Oh yeah,
the Machine Studio, or I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
So I just ordered one my junior year, and then I met this kid out in school who happened to be from California, and he was like a tagger, like a dope artist, like he's really good at drawing. And he saw that I had one, and he's like, oh bro, you make beats? And I was like, no, like I just got this, I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, I took classical piano lessons, but I want to learn how to make a beat. So he's like, cool, like let's figure this out. So me and him like would just make beats in the dorm rooms, and we just both learned from each other. And that's kind of how like the whole process started.
Lit.
Junior year in the dorms.
Lit.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's another thing that I want to mention is cross country really taught me the power of the mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks and it's really cool at the same time.
It does. Yeah, for real, dude.
But yeah, we had a really cool coach, Aaron Sharp. He was like he like set records at our high school, and he was in the Olympic trials for the marathon. So he had like, kind of high expectations for us. And like, I was never like great or anything, but he definitely taught us how to like stay focused, or helped us to stay focused. But yeah, I'm not really into running anymore though. It was cool for the time, but
at
I'm
that
chilling
time,
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Well, that's how I felt maybe about a month ago. And then this year, New Year came up, and I was like, man, I'm going to get back into running.
Yeah.
Bought some running shoes, and now I'm back to running.
Nice.
I want to try and break the 5 minute mile. That's like my all time goal.
Okay.
Because prior, I think my PR was 5:09. And
oh, you're legit then, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really want to break it before, like, I feel like this is my chance to try and break, because I'm consistent with running.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I think you'll get it.
For sure.
Just freaking shotgun one of those Red Bulls right before.
Okay, so hip hop. What were you? So it was classical music.
Yeah.
And stuff, right? And then you transitioned over to more hip hop stuff. What kind of hip hop?
It was more like jazz stuff.
Okay, jazz.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even listen to hip hop. I honestly, like, I hated hip hop growing up.
Why is that?
I just
Just
didn't.
Just curious.
I don't know. Like, I didn't identify with it. I didn't go to like school dances or anything, so like I was never into like the whole like party scene or anything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was, I was like a rock and roller. Like my dad would play
That's
me
tight.
Led Zeppelin and like AC/DC or like the Foo Fighters or like Nirvana.
Yeah.
So like I grew up listening to that, and then, a lot of my friends grew up listening to that too. And then I knew there were others, like there was hip hop out there that I liked, but I didn't really care enough to like dive into it. I just had a really bad taste in music at the time. And then I think it was like, honestly, I hate to say this, but once I started smoking weed, like when I was in school, like my freshman year of college, met a bunch of people that showed me a bunch of different types of music, and I had an open mind. And then that's really what got me onto it. I mean, a little bit before, but you know, like I just was listening with a different ear at the time and had more of an appreciation for it.
I see. Do you remember any of the stuff that you were listening to at
A lot
that
of
time?
Kid Cudi. A bunch of Kid Cudi. There was this guy, Tommy, who showed me Meek Mill.
Oh, shit.
He was like showing me like his freestyle videos because he was from the East Coast.
Yeah.
So, we were showing each other music like from where we're from. He's like, oh, you got to check this guy. Like he's like hot from my city. Like he's next up. We're like, okay. And, I became a fan of his after that. I listened to a lot of like Jay Dilla, Nujabes.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean like a bunch of different stuff. I don't even know like the names. I was just getting exposed to like so many different types of music. And then me and my brother would trade playlists. I'd come back home and I'm like, yo, look at all these new artists and songs that my friend showed me. Like, here's a CD, put it on your iTunes. And then he'd do the same. Like when he went to his school, he'd show me all the artists that he was listening to, and then we just trade music like that. And
so this is like 2014, 20.
This was like 2011. I went to
2011.
school. 2012.
Okay.
That's when like the real mind expansion happened.
Damn, and that was
It's a long time ago.
a long time ago. And also, I think before. No, I think that was when the iPod was like popping. I think, or was that prior?
I think no, because I had an iPod when I was younger.
Okay.
Like when I was in elementary school, I think it was like I had an iPod Mini.
Because like the iPhone. Fuck.
I had a Gorillaz CD,
Yeah.
Demon Days, like the first one they came out with, and I would listen to that whole album on repeat on the iPod Mini, and that was like the only album I had on there, just nonstop.
I remember listening to freaking Lupe Fiasco's with Kick Push
Okay,
and Lasers. I remember that.
nice.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it was a different time because music was you had to go out and buy it and buy CDs, and I think that's an experience in itself.
Yeah,
And I think that's really cool. And honestly, it's still popping, but I just really enjoy that experience.
yeah. I think you appreciate it more. Where now it's like it's so accessible. Where it's like, oh, that's a cool song. All right, next. And when you had to spend 5 hours searching on a website for the song, and then looking for the YouTube to MP3 converter, and then going through that whole process, like you appreciate the song more. It's like, wow, like I got this. Like, or if you buy the CD and you put it on your iPod, I feel like you're going to appreciate it more, and you'll listen more and really like digest the music instead of just skipping through everything because you have no emotional attachment to it. But that's just the progression of how the industry works.
Yeah, and I do feel like listening to an album is not that I don't know, like listening to it from front to back, it's not that popular. I don't think so, as much as throwing out singles and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just what I see right now. But
I mean, everyone has ADD now, so it's hard to get people to like sit down and like really tap into like a whole body of work that someone made. And the algorithms don't favor long form content either. They want everything like, 10 seconds, like a minute long, 2 minutes max, and then you're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Because, that still counts as a stream. Someone listening for 10 seconds of a song, or for a song that's 10 seconds, if they listen to the whole thing versus an hour file, they it only takes 10 seconds to count one stream. It takes an hour to count one stream if it's a longer track that they're listening to. So it doesn't really incentivize artists to make long form content, which is good and bad at the same time. You get more music that's like to the point and kind of like in your face, just like loud, it's there and then it's gone. But then I think there's like a new appreciation for like longer songs too, because there's not as many. So the ones that do come out kind of are up on a pedestal almost. Even if they don't get that recognition right away, it'll come eventually.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I watched the documentary. Have you seen the Kanye documentary that came out?
I haven't.
Dude, it's out in theaters now, part 1.
Okay.
It was amazing. And just seeing at that time how at that time, Jay-Z, it was like mostly gangster rap.
Yeah.
Gangsta hip hop and stuff. And what Kanye was doing was pushing his own sound, and it didn't catch on till way later. And I think not following what's popular will set you apart from I don't know. It'll just make you unique.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have belief in your goal, and you got to have a good long-term vision and be able to stick with it. And when people see you do that long enough, like eventually they'll be down for the ride.
Yeah. And okay, so continuing on the timeline, so it was experimenting with different sounds of hip hop during the college years, producing beats in your dorm room.
Yeah.
After that, did you connect with any artists, or did you connect with different producers? How was?
It's just so I tried to start like a label. I had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to start like a group. It was Greenhouse Records, and that was my friend Toxic, who the first dude that I met that I told you about. He was a producer. He introduced me to his friend Samson. I don't know if he does music anymore. And then I had 2 friends that were DJs. They go by 2 Nucks Deep. It was like a duo. And I think they also produce on their own too, but more like EDM music. So, nice. I tried to form a group like that, and it wasn't even really like a group. It was more just like, hey, we make music and we know each other, and we can put our music on SoundCloud under this thing. But those were like the main music friends that I met. Actually, no, there was one other one, my roommate senior year, Ted the Poet. He was like a rapper, more like a poet. He didn't do too much rap, but I tried to get him to rap on some of my beats, but it was all whack at the time. Like I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really know too many musicians out there because it wasn't my main focus. I was just doing it for fun. Did not know that I was gonna really try to pursue it. I was kind of like split between like, okay, like, am I gonna go get my master's right now? Am I continuing this health journey, or what am I doing after this? I don't even know yet. So I never really went like full force into music until after. And then that's where I met like a majority of the artists that I work with. So
after, you said you graduated in 15?
Yeah, like at the end.
Okay, at the end. And so 16, I guess when you came back here, is that you pursued music, or you pursued producing, you pursued engineering?
Or first I was just trying to get a job. I was like, okay, like I'm back home now. That's cool. I have a degree, but I'm not really using it right now. I was just kind of like lost at the time. And I was like, you know what, let me just try to figure out music. Like I've been doing it for a while. I've never really like went all in on it. I know that I can do difficult things if I put my mind to it. Like, I finished school. Let me try to put that same amount of energy into pursuing music and then see what happens. Like, I'll hold my breath for 4 or 5 years. I'll come up and then see where I'm at. So yeah, I just got a job and mostly focused on just producing beats just out of my bedroom. Still not knowing what I was doing.
And when you were producing, you were just making beats. Did you have an idea of like, yo, I'm gonna send this beat to this person, or did you
I didn't
have
really have
people or
like any idea
yeah.
like how the industry works. I didn't know like, oh, you make beats and then you send out a beat pack to people, or you have your studio and you bring people in to record. I didn't know like any of that. All I was focused on was, okay, like how do you like make a song? Like I still couldn't comprehend it really. Because I was making stuff that wasn't really like your typical like, oh, that's a cool beat, I want to rap on it. I was just making like little songs, like minute loops or whatever. I don't even know what to call them, honestly. But yeah, I was doing that, and then I recorded one of my neighbors that off of I had Logic at the time, like a cracked version of Logic. I got it in school from one of my roommates. And I would record one of my neighbors. Him and his friends would rap, but I didn't really know what I was doing with that either. I was like, hey, well, I have a computer and you rap. Let's try to make something together and let's see what we're doing. He was my buddy from back in the day. So, we'd record on Apple headphones. That was our mic.
That's dope.
And had, you just start from not knowing what you're doing, and then you try it again and you're like, okay, we could fix that. And then you try it again. You're like, oh, well, now I have a microphone. Okay, let's try it again. And then, we just kept progressing from there. Just met more people, and the beats eventually get better. You learn more of what defines a song, or like how it's structured, and just studying what people that are doing it are doing. Because before it was just freestyle. I was like, cool, don't know how to make a beat, I'm gonna try to figure this out on my own. And then I really started like studying, like, okay, these are like good producers, like they made this song, they're behind like all these tracks that I like. Okay, let me see who they are as a person, like what gear are they using, like what's their approach to making music. And then that kind of like opened the door for me to learn how to like really like make a track and connect with artists and learn how like the business side of everything works.
So with mixing and stuff, what was it, YouTube University that you were just on and just researching, or obviously like trial and error, but YouTube, you would say?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
And that was another thing, like I was making beats and I was recording with other producers and musicians, and I didn't know engineers were a thing. And then I found out about that, and I was discouraged. I was like, damn, like there's a whole other like group of people that are involved in making a song. Like I thought we had it was just us right here. Now we gotta like learn this whole other thing or get somebody else involved. And I was fortunate enough to learn from people that had really good equipment, and just watching them work like in person. And it was different genres, but just seeing how they operate in a studio, and what a compressor is or what an EQ is, and still not knowing, but just going there every day and just watching them in their environment and learning little tips here and there. And then I might see them turn this knob and then on a compressor, and then I'm like, okay, that was interesting, I'd never seen anyone do that. So I take note of that, and then I'd go back home on YouTube and be like, okay, why did they do that? Like,
oh shit,
what is that? What is a ratio on a compressor, and how does that influence the sound? And then I'd go back and then have a better understanding of what they were doing, and then I could look at the next knob that they were turning, and it was just one by one, watching someone who knew what they were doing, and just learning by example, pretty much. And a lot of trial and error, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess for myself, yeah, it's been a lot of trial and error, and just experimenting, honestly, just opening the DAW, opening FL Studio, and just making something.
Yeah.
Even if it was shit, it might turn out good, it might turn out bad. I don't know, just that experimentation.
Yeah.
And throwing yourself into the unknown is, I think, where you grow and you progress.
Yeah, and it's cool because there's no right way to do something. Like, you can achieve the same goal, like, with an audio file in like a million different ways. Everyone has their own technique of how they do something, but there's no right way. I mean, there's obviously things that you want to look out for, but for the most part, like, there's no rules. You can do whatever you want as long as you know what you want your end goal to be. You can shape it however you want.
Yeah, I like how just the DAW itself is like you can paint any visual picture that you want. You can paint any picture that you want, but through audio, which I think is cool.
Oh yeah.
It's like like you said, there's no limit to what you can make with sound.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely opened up the doors to creating like different types of music, and making it more accessible to people. Because now, like, my workflow is catered to how I like to work, but then looking back to how I used to do it, I was like, man, like, I was wasting so much time, like, doing all these different weird routings and re-recording and not doing things the right way, where, but I was using old software, and
old software, like,
I guess not old software, but just software that I wasn't familiar with. I started on Machine, so it came with a beat pad, and then I transitioned to that cracked version of Logic, and I've been rocking that ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then just really focusing on mastering that. But yeah, there's really no limit on what you can do.
Yeah.
As long as you know what you're doing with the tools.
Yeah. Okay, so the year 16, it was trying to figure out how to make a beat, how to arrange a beat, how to EQ mix and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Still? And then 17, do you remember?
It was kind of like it
was a process of time.
Yeah, it was not like, oh, here's where I learned this and then here's where I learned that. It was kind of like a blur. So I set up a studio. I moved it from my bedroom into my grandma's garage. She had they had parked two cars on the other side, and they had like one that was like, or a section of it that was built out like a room that I used to like hang out in when I was little. And they let me turn it into like a studio. So I'd go over there and record. I met this musician, and we'd write together. I met a couple artists, and we started doing tracks together. And we would just repeat that cycle. Slowly met more and more people, started doing shows, like I was performing with a band.
Nice.
And just learning different avenues of, one, how to make money in music, and two, where I think I can fit in the industry. Like, what do I like, what do I don't like, and what skills of mine that I do have can I monetize, like, in this whole puzzle. But yeah, it's just been slowly chipping away at it, and then reaching out to different artists, and then a lot of work on my own too, just sitting and reading. I like to do that a lot. So
reading. Okay, what is it that you're reading? Like, what kind of books? Or is it
or
like
just
articles?
reading about like audio engineering,
or
like how the music industry works, or people that have made it. Just learning from the greats.
I see. Yeah, definitely.
Seeing what they did on their come ups, and yeah, just slowly chipping away at it. But I wouldn't say there's like a set period, because like I'm always trying to learn. I feel like I know a lot right now, but I definitely don't know enough.
Yeah. Is there a moment that you can say like, wow, this really helped me out? Like getting the studio that you're at now, would you say is like a stamp in your progression? Or
that was probably the biggest period of like progression, just because like that's something I wanted to do for so long. Every other studio I had was either like in a garage, at like my grandma's house, so it was hard to record. I want to be respectful, like it's her house, so can only have the music on so loud, you can only be up so late, can only bring like certain friends over that, you know, like we can't smoke over there, you can't drink really. So there was a lot of limits over there.
Yeah.
And then I had a studio set up in Strand. It was in a house. But that was in my bedroom, and it was crowded. And I didn't really have all the equipment and space that I needed. So after I moved out of Strand, I moved back home and regrouped, you know, just saved up a bunch of money, got some new equipment. But again, it was like in my parents' house. So, you know, there's those rules. They were very open and supportive with like what I was doing, but I didn't feel like I ever wanted to like intrude on their space. I was like, no, this is my thing. Like, I don't want to bug you guys with this. Like, I got to figure this out for myself.
Sure.
So I found this studio, and it's been like nonstop work ever since.
That's awesome. I can definitely relate with getting your own studio because, like you said, the restrictions that come with, or the limits that come with, I guess, being at your house. Like, you can't really express yourself in a way that you can express yourself in a studio with different friends that come in and, you know, maybe they want to smoke, and like that brings out different type of creativity.
Yeah.
And for me, it's this spot has definitely jumped to the progression to, like, I don't know, it really has helped me out with the progression as well.
Yeah.
So I definitely relate with what you were saying.
Yeah. And I think it helped too, just having a spot that I wasn't like sleeping in, and I would get out of bed and walk to my desk. Like, it was like really crammed, like all right there. So I think having a separate area where I can go to work and focus, and then at the end of the day I can
clock out.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that was it. Like, I put in my work, I did my work for the day. I can go home and sleep, or if I want to, I can sleep in the studio too.
Yeah.
But there's that option, and you're not like forced to have everything all in that one space. And I feel like it brings out a different energy in the room, like, bro. Especially when you bring people over. You know, they come over and they're like, okay, bet, we're here to work. What are we gonna make today?
Yeah.
Let's write.
Also, yeah, that's a good point. Also, being surrounded by so many talented and awesome people that, you know, when you're surrounded by those kind of people, they push you as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, being surrounded by Adaptive, Blue, Ty, everyone here, and you too. Like seeing you produce with the piano, and I don't know, that one song that you have with Los Vigilantes.
Oh yeah, every now and then.
That shit was insane. But yeah, that energy definitely helps other people as well. Like, just being surrounded by that people that are pursuing greatness as well.
Yeah, and it's like you guys are all homies. Like, you want to see each other win.
Yeah.
And you inspire each other, and you know, I'm sure there's like friendly competition. Like, you hear your friend make a good song, you're like, damn, bro,
that's
like,
amazing. Yeah.
How did you do that? Like, that's cool. Like,
yeah.
I definitely want to bump it, and I also want to go right because you just inspired me.
Yeah.
And then I hope I inspire you, and then we just grow together, and there's that constant progression.
Definitely.
So yeah, I think it's really cool what you guys are doing. Yeah. Just surrounding yourself with like-minded people and building on each other.
I feel that.
Yeah.
And I guess so was it Miguel that had hit you up to, or how did the whole Los Vigilantes from your perspective come about?
So there was this Instagram page, Central Coast Beat Social, that followed me on Instagram like a while ago. So I followed him back, and you know, I didn't know who they were, but I saw that they were putting on events out like in around Slow, and I think I'd follow them for like over a year, maybe like 2 years, and just never really. I was just kind of doing my own thing. Never really like went out and went to events or anything like that. And then I had this studio, and I was like, yeah, I need to start meeting new people, because I need to start bringing people here. Like, I have this space, but I want to like share it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to one of those events in Slow, and I thought it was a 12-hour like writing session. So I brought all this gear, and I walked in, and it was like a jam session, but it was only for 1 hour. Like, I read the flyer wrong. I thought it was from like 12 to 1 a.m. like a 13-hour session, but it was like a 1 hour like event. So I had all this gear and I was like, fuck, man, I came all the way out here. Like, all right, well, at least I'm gonna meet somebody. So I was just watching people and then, you know, kind of seeing like, okay, like he's got dope beats, or like this person raps cool. This dude was good at guitar. And I talked to the owner, Jesse, and he was like, hey, you got to meet this dude, Miguel. He's from Oxnard also. And then I saw, and I was like, oh shit, like, yeah, he was one of the people that I remembered that was making cool beats like during that session.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to him. I showed him pictures of the studio. I was like, hey bro, like I really like your stuff. Like I just got this studio. If you're in Oxnard, like open door, bro, like come through whenever.
Mm-hmm.
So he came through like the next week and we made a beat and it worked out so well. Like he produces in a very different way than I produce. So it's cool to like watch him and see his style and to see like, oh, we have a lot of mutual friends too. And he came through the next week. I think we made another beat, and then he came through with Hector and presented the Los Vigilantes project idea. And yeah, that's kind of how it came about. And then he met Lyra separately and then brought him on board too. And yeah, we've just been running ever since.
Yeah, just the sessions and just seeing, I don't know, what you, the art that has been coming out from Los Vigilantes, the music, it's awesome to see, really, and hear and listen to.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
For real, that means a lot.
Thank you.
But
yeah, there's more to come for sure.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I think we got a whole project we're working on right now. We have one single out every now and then. I think we're dropping one more. Working on finishing the like 8, I think it's like 6 more tracks. Finishing out those ideas, and then we're gonna be dropping a project and then start the cycle all over again.
Lit.
Yeah.
I guess right now, like, are you really listening to anything as far as music wise, or watching anything that inspires what you make, or?
I listen to a lot of like songs that I don't know the artist name or the song name to. I'll just throw on like a random playlist on Spotify, and if I hear something, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'll screenshot it, and then I'll come back to it later and either try to sample it or, you know, be like, okay, what was it that I liked about it? They had a cool flute in that song. Okay, let me try to like recreate that sound. And then I listen to a lot of like Kenny Beats, like anything Kenny Beats makes, I listen to. The new Isaiah Rashad album was really cool.
You hear that Denzel Curry project that Kenny Beats worked on?
Yeah.
Unlocked?
Really cool.
Dude, crazy.
Oh yeah. I hope they come out with another one too.
Yeah.
Who else am I listening to? Honestly, like I listen to a lot of my friends' music too. They're all making like better and better music, and that inspires me, especially when they're reaching out to other producers. I'm like, oh shoot, like I didn't know you can do a track like that. Like, okay, cool. Like maybe that just opens the door for possibilities when I'm working with these people. So I like to see what my friends are making too.
I like that. I like that feeling when you're in the studio and you I don't know, just like presenting an idea and like seeing other people react to it. I think that's so awesome.
Oh yeah. It's an irreplaceable feeling.
It is, dude.
Yeah. Cause you only have a chance to get that like real time feedback like once. Cause after that, if they've already heard it, they're going to react a certain way. But you can tell like when you play something for that first couple seconds, like, okay, do they really feel it, or what's the vibe like?
Yeah. And also like when I'll be playing it and, you know, I'm just kind of looking around the room, like, yeah, like you said, like, are they feeling this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And, you know, somebody will say a fucking verse or a hook, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a good feeling. And
it is.
that's, I feel like that's a goal of like every session when you're writing, to like capture that feeling where if you're pacing back and forth and you can't sit down, you're like, oh my God, like we're going to make it after this song. That's a dope feeling.
We're definitely getting out of the hood with this one.
Yeah. And, you know, try to capture that every time.
Yeah.
And, you know, it probably it probably won't be that track that is, you know, a world-changing track, but that feeling still means something. And
really
I feel
does,
like
yeah.
that's eventually one of those are going to work.
Yeah. And, you know, I feel like even if it doesn't work, like if it's not like well known, it's still awesome that that experience was shared with everyone in the room.
Oh, yeah.
And that, yeah, like you said, it's irreplaceable, that feeling, bro. It's like, wow. But obviously it's like there's this another side to it, which is the business side, and like you definitely want to make it monetize it in a way, but
Yeah.
I don't know, just do, I feel like do what you love first and the money will follow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird line to balance.
Yeah. Are you studying the business side as well, or?
Yeah. We actually had like a real world experience that kind of like threw me into learning about all of this. Where we got approached. This was like a group that I was working with like 2 summers ago. And we got approached by a label to do a project with them. And we didn't have lawyers or anything,
Oh,
but
shit.
always like a skeptical person. So when I read a contract, I'm like, okay, you know, you obviously want something. You hear about all these stories about artists getting screwed over. I'm like, this is my first experience. I'm not about to let that happen to me or my friends. So I went deep into learning about, you know, contract, or like how a contract works, the different phrases they use, just leverage points that an artist has, that a label has, and rights that each group has, and the different scenarios it could play out. So yeah, I went through that whole process with my friends and without a lawyer, and we kind of like learned it on our own, figured it out on our own, and you know, it was a learning experience. We did a lot of right things, but we didn't do everything right. But you know, that's a process. That's exactly how I started making music. Like, did some right things, did a lot of wrong things, but it gets better every cycle. But I feel like I'm pretty solid as far as the business side goes. But obviously, it helps when you have a team of people. I just kind of know like certain signs to look out for.
Interesting.
But you can learn a lot from Instagram University. What's the page
That's
called?
the first time I've ever heard that, bro. That's funny.
Yeah, there's a couple pages that talk about like the business side of like music, especially for producers, because it's, you know, it's hard for producers out there. So there's groups of people, especially on Reddit, they want to see everybody win. Kenny Beats has his Twitch streams. Monte Booker has his Twitch streams. So I watch those, and they always give like little gems here and there. It's a whole separate process. That was like the feeling of learning, oh shoot, someone has to mix and master this too. And then you learn like, cool, you create this product, you're like, damn, someone has to monetize this, or someone has to go pitch this to a label. Like there's a whole other side of like music once a product is created. And you know, you don't have to learn everything, but it's good to have a little awareness of all the pieces.
I can compare that to working on your car. Say if you don't know how to change your oil, or you don't know like how to change your brakes, a mechanic can fuck you over and say like, oh, it needs this replaced, and you know, it's like you said, having basic awareness of just little things that to look out for so that you don't get screwed over.
Yeah. And you don't have to be like the best at any of those.
No.
But as long as you know like surface level, like, okay, this person's supposed to do this, and you know, you just learning all the pieces of the puzzle. I feel like helps out a lot.
Yeah, and you learn what not to do.
Yeah, definitely. It's a process.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, that's part of the scientific process. You learn like what not to do. It's trial and error, and then you repeat it and you see what works and what doesn't work, and you keep repeating that process.
For sure. I guess I'll probably end it here then, if there's anything else that you want to talk about as far as.
No, I mean that's pretty much the whole come up story.
Cool. And then
Yeah.
so far, dude, and then soon we'll do another one.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And we'll I'll have a glass of wine with you on April 1st.
Let's go.
6 more weeks. I'm excited.
Instagram and where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. It's Conman with 3 N's, CONMANNN, and that's pretty much all I use. I'm not even on Instagram right now. I'm gonna log back in probably in like 2 more weeks. I do pockets of social media detox too, but yeah, I'll follow you back on there.
Cool. All right. Thanks, guys.
Dope.